I was like, oh no, he's gonna be on mobile. It's gonna look bad, but it looks fantastic. You look great. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, you too. Looks good. Looks good.
Um, so I wanted to start. I think there's a few people. There's probably only like two or three people who don't know who you are. I know you as the Dawson God. I know you as the man who won Wednesday night fights. Do you want to introduce yourself to the rest of the stream?
Oh, hey everyone. I'm Commander Jesse, Street Fighter Five player. I play Dalsum. I main Dalsum in Street Fighter Five, and in Street Fighter Four, when I first started playing Street Fighter, I started with Chun Li, and then I played Sakura and Dalsum also.
So let's talk more about that. So you played Street Fighter 4. Was that your first fighting game? Were you like an 09er? When did you get into it? When did you get competitive?
Yeah, I guess you could say I'm an 09er. Yeah, I definitely started like in that era, 08, 09, when Street Fighter 4 came out, and
Sure.
I started playing Chun Li. I gravitated towards her, and I played her for all the way up until AE. And then when the twins came out, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I tried to hang in there. It was just too much, the dive kick pressure. And I was just like, I have to go somewhere. I have to go somewhere else. So I started playing Sakura, and that really helped the game, for it to be competitive and be fun. And then once Ultra came out, I started playing Dalsum, and I realized how much fun I was having playing him, and then it just kind of carried over.
So you sort of went on a weird tier. Like Chun Li's always been like upper tier, right? But then the twins gave her a hard time. All dive kick characters, Rufus did in 4, and then
Rufus, yeah,
so bad.
bad, rough.
And then you went to Sakura and AE, like top tier Sakura. Is that when you played her when she was really
Yeah,
good?
yeah. I went Sakura. I wanted to play someone that was a little different than Chun. I feel like with Chun, I had to be very, I'm not defensive, but I had to be aware of how people were coming at me, and I had to have a certain approach. But with Sakura, I feel like I was able to apply offense better, and then
Right.
make other people play defense. So that kind of felt fun to, like, make people go through what I was going through. So
You're like,
it was
how do
kind of
you
fun.
like this pressure? It's
Yeah,
so weird though.
exactly.
But then you go from Sakura, who's like top of the top, to like Sim at the bottom. Like, wow, why the
It's weird.
switch?
It's weird. I know, and then I experimented with other characters. Like once I got to the Ultra, and I had gone through all the series of the game. I started playing Akuma and Rufus, and just started messing around with other characters because I felt like maybe I might find a style that I like. And when I
Mhm.
started playing Dawson, I had a lot of fun playing him. He was just so different from a lot of the other characters, and
Yeah,
I don't know, yeah, just kind of
that's
stuck.
cool. That's cool. That's cool. That's really
Yeah.
cool. So then from Street Fighter 4 to Street Fighter 5, so like I was a Geef player in 4 and I've always been churning butter, but um I hated that they didn't redesign Geef. Like it was like the same old Geef, but without Green Hand, and his critical art sucked. But I did like I don't know why I was on that like Maximilian train. I was like I'm gonna do all these breakdowns of trailers. So like please watch my YouTube. Anyway, so I did like breakdown
Right.
videos, and I thought Dawson's redesign looked so fucking cool. Like I love what they did with the character. Were you a fan from 4 to 5? How the character looked and played?
Oh yeah, no, like I was stuck because when I first played five, I tried Chun Li because that's who I started playing in four. So I
Hmm.
figured that was the right way to go. And people were saying that Chun was really good. And when I tried her, I just felt like to me she wasn't quite the same. I don't know. She didn't have the same style as she did in four. And even though people were saying she was a good character, I just didn't feel the way I felt when I played four. When I played Chun, like it was a different style. So I wasn't really crazy about it. And then when they had announced Dawson and they gave him a beard and
It
a
was you.
really sick design, I was just like, I knew in my heart, yeah, it wasn't like something I had to think about. I just knew like I had to play that character, so
It was
it
your
was
time.
easy for me. Yeah, I knew right away. I was like, I'm playing Dawson for sure. He can, he can float now and he can
Yeah.
carpet and he's just like badass. So I was like, this is it right here.
Yo, the fire carpet and the Dormammu like Marvel critical art, like everything about Dawson is super cool. The only thing that's uncool about Dawson for me is he's always been like a low health, requires a certain amount of patience. You know what I mean? I think you have to be that type of player, right? Even in
Yeah,
5 where he applies pressure, there are moments where you still have to like play defensively and sort of neutral, and I don't think I'm smart enough. I think you pulled it off well, right? But I just can't. But I more respect
somehow,
to you.
yeah, yeah.
Do you think it's important for a lot of people? They come to this stream and they're like, I've limited fight money. Which one of these DLC characters can I buy? Which one is the best? Who's the best character in this game? People ask me all the time, like, who should I play? Do you think it's more important to play? And like I always argue with the Gutek sentiment. He's like, play Ryu. Ryu is the base character, and then branch out. Do you think it's more important to start with a character that you're passionate about, or do you think like a centered character, or a top tier? What's important?
Absolutely. I know that there's people who think that you have to go the top tier route and that's the only way you're gonna have fun. But honestly, having fun is the most important part. I feel like if you're gonna put any kind of work into anything, like not just like fighting games, but anything, like, you have to have that passion for it in order to carry you through the times where you don't want to play. Like, there's times where, like, I want to play because I have fun playing Dawson, and then sometimes I'm like, you know what, I want to try something else. I'll play Mika, and I'll have fun playing that way. But it keeps me involved in the game, and I think that's really important. I feel like once you start somewhere, and you have a passion for that character, it'll just eventually branch out, and you'll want to get better and better. And I think it really helps you through those tough times.
Yeah, so something interesting that you said, like if you want to put work into it, right? Like if the end goal is to improve, you're gonna have to play hours, and to play hours, it's more important to be enjoying it, or otherwise you're gonna be miserable, right? Like I could pick Chun-Li, but I would hate the game. So how good would I even get? Wouldn't matter if she stopped here, right?
Yeah, you're not willing to put in that extra work, I feel like. And with like a character that you have fun playing, you're like, oh, I want to know more about that character. I want to know what
You
they're
want to
capable of.
play.
Like, I didn't know he can do this. That's so sick. Or, there's more to look forward to, I think.
So it seems like a lot of characters in season 2 got better and worse. Like I've been complaining about Birdie a lot, but a lot of people are sort of happy with the new potential that Birdie has. How do you feel about Dawson's season 2 changes? The general buzz is that he's better. Would you agree?
Right.
And did he get worse at all?
I feel like he's become a stronger zoner. He's always meant to be a kind of keep away kind of character with his limbs, and meant for the other person, for it to be difficult for them to get in on Dawson, and that's where he succeeds. So I feel like they did a good job on that. They made a lot of his limbs plus on block, which I know makes it a little harder for people to navigate around.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the setup play is a little different.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like they nerfed his air fierce. Comes out a lot slower now. It does less damage, so you have to substitute that with the medium kick, and that just means you have to be a little bit more precise on your setup game, which is fine because he's not really meant to be an aggressive character. But I think my style, I love to kind of rush down. I like to get in there and kind of do some funky stuff. I like to get creative with it on offense sometimes. So for me, it just means that I think I might have to hit the brakes a little bit and go back to more of a kind of classic keep away. I feel like Street Fighter 4 Dawson, so.
Well, it kind of seems like the tone of like season 2 is they've changed characters, like suggesting this is how they should be played, right? Like, hey, we've taken away these tools, but we've given you other tools because we sort of visualize that Dawson would be a keep out character. But I gotta admit that Dawson, it's interesting when he first dropped, people were like, oh, he's fantastic, and then sort of towards the end of season 1, you're like, oh, you can't win a major with Dawson. But I do think the change in playstyle was cool. Maybe both now, maybe offense and defense. I mean, potentially, right?
Yeah, that's the goal. I mean, I'm always trying to find that middle area where I can play offense still and still incorporate my style, because I don't want that. That's part of the fun of the game. You want to be able to express yourself through your character. So I don't want to lose that. But at the same time, I know that there's a certain way that things have to be played. So I'm trying to find that middle ground between offense and being solid on defense.
Right. Like you could want to rush in with Fang, but it may not behoove you to do so, right? Like you may get blown up.
Exactly. Yeah.
Did you play Fang at all? I mean, he's not really Sim.
I haven't. No. I've heard a lot about how he's kind of struggling a little bit. He's an interesting character. I've talked to Dominion about it, and I'm impressed by the way that he plays. And Shen also, it's just amazing what those guys can do with that character. I'm always blown away. But I haven't actually tried him, but I think he's an interesting character.
Yeah, he's super cool. Shin was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about this low-tier mindset that I really loved. It was just like, if you're going to play a character that's not in the upper half or the upper tier, you just have to embrace that, right? And just said some really inspirational things. And I think that's true with Dawson, especially in Street Fighter 4, and now still in Street Fighter 5 as he's not a top tier. Like, you just have to embrace that, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. Like, it's kind of crazy how I just have fun playing the character. And then as I've had fun, people are like, wow, you're Dawson. Like, you're the Dawson player. And I'm being associated with just being a Dawson player. But honestly, that's kind of cool. Like, I'm just like, oh, thank you. I'm glad that I can show you some stuff that you haven't seen or that you even enjoy watching with Dawson. Like, that's flattering. Like, it's really cool, and it's something special. I know there's not too many of us, so it's a pretty awesome feeling, yeah.
It is. I think that's really important to note too. Like Stupendous was on last week, and sort of like Street Fighter 4 was always Snake Eyes, like Snake Eyes, Snake Eyes, Snake Eyes. And in Street Fighter 4, there were a lot of Dawsons you heard about, and you weren't the top of the list, right? But now it sort of feels like for Stu and you, this is like your game. Like when we talk about Dawsons, you're one of the American Dawsons, at least. You're one of the first names to pop up, so that's got to be a cool feeling, right? Carrying the torch.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe it. I went from just having fun playing Dawson at 4, where like everybody's like, why would you even do that? And now like, I'm playing Dawson here, and he's like, it's different, and I'm had some success, and that's awesome. I love it.
It is really cool. It's really cool to hear. Yo, we have a ton of. I have to give a shout out. I don't think either of them here, but we have a ton of like Wednesday Night Fights players in here, and the
Oh,
ones
okay.
that are the ones that
Okay.
are always fans of yours are Denka Diaz and Tatsu Shoryu. They're always like, Commander
Oh,
Jesse, he's the best, he's the
those are the
best.
yoga boys right there. Yeah,
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 those are the
that's the
young
yoga
yoga
boys.
boys. You're like their
Yeah,
mentor.
definitely. To see me, Tatsushoyu Dankadillis, used to be Afro Cole, but he's not really around as much. Um, yeah, us, yeah, we're holding it down there. Yeah, we're trying to hold it down for the yoga crew. Those
Those are
guys
those
are,
are
are awesome. Yeah, they're
yeah,
gonna
they're
be
good
good.
players
They're
too,
gonna be
right?
good
Yeah,
players.
they're
Yeah,
the next generation. They're yeah. How old are you?
I'm 20. Oh, I'm 30 now. Oh my God, wow. Yeah, I'm 30.
Me
Yeah,
too.
they're
I'm
definitely
30.
like this generation. They're gonna. I'm gonna give it to them. Yeah, and they're gonna run with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this might be your game, but Street Fighter 6, yeah, they're going to be incredible. Especially Tatsu and Dank are both phenomenal. Oh, you saw? I'm sure. Were you there when Dank beat Rathmatics and ended up getting fourth? Were you there for that Wednesday night
Yeah, but I
fights?
think that was last week. I think
Yeah,
actually, wasn't it?
yep,
Yeah, yeah, last
yeah,
week.
he did
Yeah,
phenomenal.
he's
Dank
coming
killed it.
along. I know. 2 weeks into season two, and he's gotten top eight twice. I'm proud.
Yeah, so he's definitely
Awesome.
handling the buffs well, and he's always playing bad matchups in the stream and like trying to level up. So just a couple of viewer questions. The other week, Stupendous mentioned that his character choice is mostly based on fun. Do you play Dawson primarily with the same mindset? I think we sort of addressed that. What about Sim makes you gravitate towards him? In other words, why not pick a top tier? So we kind of glanced over that. But
Yeah.
also the chat asked about alternates. Is there, so like if Sim, let's say season two just like fucked you. Sorry, this isn't an esports thing. This is just a, if season
Okay.
two was
All
just
right.
like get wrecked
Okay.
and they ruined Dawson, where would you go? Like who would be your Sakura or Chun Li for season two?
This might sound pretty bad because I know I'll get a lot of flack for this because in season one I did have a pocket. I just didn't use her because I wasn't like too confident. But I actually had fun playing Armika.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun playing her. And it wasn't that she was cheap or anything. I just loved like getting in the corner and mixing people up. I think it has to do with that like Sakura mindset that I still have, like where I
Right.
was just put someone in the corner, make them guess, keep going with my combos, and just make other people kind of tilt. So I definitely would like to mess around more with Armika, even though she's a little nerfed now. I still think that she's got some stuff.
Yeah, season two, Mika not as strong, but if you said that you have Mika as a pocket in season one, you got stabbed in parking lots. I had a pocket Mika, I have like a Mika emote, and people are like, oh, it's so gross, don't do it, don't play it.
Yeah,
So, but I
it's
get it.
fun. Yeah.
I have to like hide my pocket Mika in shame. I don't want to, I don't want anyone to know. Let's see. Also, that's sort of a good question. It sort of goes along with that. It seemed like a lot of people were dropping Sim. It seemed like a lot of people were not believing that Sim could win a major, but you were still sort of grinding it out. Do you think the character has potential to win majors? Do you think you or other Sim players can do it?
I think it's possible, definitely. I know that of most low tier characters, it's just kind of a little bit of a harder road. Sometimes you run into some matchups that are a little more difficult to deal with. But after playing at the Brooklyn Beatdown, and I guess I had some success there, I actually felt like I was
Would you get
capable.
second or third? You were top like 8, right? I forget about Brooklyn
Yeah, I
Beatdown.
think I came in seventh.
Okay.
Brooklyn Beatdown. Yeah, but I just felt like I was playing really well that day, and I wanted to keep it going. And I definitely feel like anybody is capable of winning with their character if you're just have it all going that day and you're making all the right decisions. I think any character is more than capable of winning. It just you have to really have that mindset. Like Shen was saying, like you have to really embrace the fact that you're playing this character and that it's more anything is possible,
Mhm.
and know that some people would say it's easier if you're playing with Guile or Yuri, and I guess some of these
Yeah.
top tier characters. But I definitely think winning a major with Dawson is definitely possible. I think you
Who
just have to be on your game and you can make it happen.
who are the other Sims? And I also want to talk about Sims bad matchups because I think that's sort of the thing that inhibits low tier characters from winning majors is running into players of equal skill, but they're just bad matchups, right? Like season one
Bad.
Geef, you could be fantastic, but you just run into like the wrong Chun or Dalsum, and then you know what I mean. So what do you think are? I do want to talk about other Dalsums, but what do you think are Sims worst matchups? Season one, season two, just overall.
Honestly, the two characters that are like the bane of my existence probably are Nakali and Rashid. Actually, I mean, it's just every time I had played, because Valle was legit like my demon for a while. Like I would go to Wednesday night fights, and every time I was in grand finals, he would just not let me win. And I would think at some point, oh, he was just doing it on purpose. Like he was just being mean. Like he just
What
would
an
not
asshole!
let me win, man. I was like, come on, man. Like if you run this, like let me get
Can I
started,
play?
you know?
Can I play?
Yeah, like can you just But he legit, like, Rashid is just like nonstop. I just feel like the way he plays against Dawson is constant pressure. And sometimes my only choice is the B reversal, but I'm burning B meter and I'm trying to escape. And then I realize, like, I can't just do this all day. Like, I can't just sit here and block all day. I have to create offense. So Rashid is definitely a problem. It's just an annoying, like a pest.
Right.
And then Nikali is just
Why
one
is
that
that one?
explodes on you.
Why is that one so bad? Why is Nikali so bad?
And Nikali, I just feel like it's so explosive, where I can just zone him out for a while, but I know that eventually, once he pops and he turns Super Saiyan, he can just get in and turn me to the corner. And now I'm guessing I'm either taking a combo or a command grab in the corner. I'm getting scooped and I'm doing huge damage. One low forward confirm into Super is like half my life.
Death. Yeah.
It's stressful. Yeah, I think that matchup is stressful. So for that reason, those two characters are definitely my nightmare matchups. But I learned to deal with it in time. Like, I'm so glad. Like, now I feel a little more comfortable in the Rashid matchup because Vi has put his foot in my, put foot in me like so many times. So I feel more comfortable now. But yeah, those two characters are definitely the worst.
Yeah, I just noticed the Broken Tier beanie. Shout out to Broken Tier. That's dope.
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
warm.
for sure. Still rocking it. Yeah.
Yo, so, on that note, I'm gonna forget to bring up other good sims, so don't let me forget. But on that note, when is Broken Tier Commander Jesse? When is Red Bull Commander Jesse? You haven't been approached at all?
No, I've had one company approach me,
Sure.
but I guess things didn't really come through. And but I'm looking forward to any future endeavors. Anybody who's interested to talk to me, I'm all ears. I'm definitely all ears. And in the meanwhile, I'm just practicing, going to Wednesday night fights, trying to keep my game sharp. I'm definitely hoping to hit more tournaments this year. So hopefully that will kind of help in that aspect.
Yeah, get you more notice, right, on
Right.
people's radars. Well, I don't know what
Yeah,
you do on
exactly.
Sundays. I don't know what you do on Sundays, but we have an A4 Arena, and last month we paid out $200 to the winner, and the month before we did 100. And this month we're actually flying a player. We're putting an A4 jersey player, A4 jersey on a player's back, and flying them to final round. So flight and hotel. It'll be our first
Oh,
sponsored
that's
player.
awesome.
So if you want to play in some tournaments Sunday morning, afternoon, and you're more than welcome to. We'd love to have you.
Oh, sweet.
Danka Diaz got fourth this week. He's won before, but it's like a weekly thing that you get points towards the end of the month. So he hasn't won like a month yet, but he's definitely won weeks before. So I think you do well. It'd be good to have you in. Let's talk about the Dawsons before I forget. Other Dawsons. So like Champ is a great Dawson. We talked about the Dawson kids,
Yeah.
Dank and Tatsu. What other Dawsons do people need to be aware of? Is there like a Japanese Dawson? Who's going to win majors? If it's not Commander Jesse, who's doing big things with him?
You know who's doing big things that I guess not a lot of people are talking about is Mr. Crimson. I know he's a Laura player, but he is playing Dawson now, and I was watching him when he came over for Capcom Cup, and he's a really smart player. He's doing some really big things with Dawson now, and he's putting in work, and he's finding out tech, and he's someone to look out for. I would definitely say Mr. Crimson. And then there's always Mochi, Japanese Dawson. He's classic. He's been around. But I know he's kind of been in hiding. Like, I think he's just been playing a lot online. He hasn't really been going to tournaments.
I haven't seen any tech from him. Are people uploading replays maybe?
I mean, I see footage of him on YouTube, and sometimes I'll go and look, and I'll just kind of like take some ideas and things like that. But he's definitely a Dawson to look out for. I mean, someone that we all know, obviously. But yeah, and then the young guns, you got Dankadillis and Tatsu Shoyu, that the next generation of Dawsons that are going to be the Dawsons. I have no doubt in my mind. They're eager, they're hungry, so it's awesome.
Yeah. How good is F Champ?
How good is what? F Champ? Oh,
F Champ.
Amazing. He's on the Mount Rushmore of Dawsons,
Yeah, yeah. So
it's him.
who do you have?
And
Mochi,
like Arturo,
him,
and like
Art.
Afro Cool, because you gotta have like
Yeah.
the founding father. Yeah. So yeah, Def Champ is someone that like I would watch also. Him and Arturo, I used to watch their videos so much in Street Fighter 4 when I first started playing Dawson. I watched their videos all the time, and I learned a lot.
Young Art the God. He was so good, so
He
good.
was so good. Yeah, he made me really believe in Ultra 2. Like I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, no, it can't be. Ultra 1's the only way. But he showed me some stuff. So.
Yeah, he's
Shout
very
out to
good.
him and Afro Cole. Yeah, they both. Helped
Yeah,
a lot.
and no one knows who Afro Cole is, which is so shocking to me. But I think it's because we're old that we know who Afro Cole is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's
old in
true.
FGC
That's
years.
right.
Like I don't 30's not old, but like in this community, 30's like ancient. So Afro Cole won like the first Evo. He's like super turbo awesome. He's a fantastic player. You're right. Doesn't get enough credit. Should be on Mount Rushmore without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
it's another viewer question. It's early yet in season 2. Do you feel like Sim is a more solid character and has more tools to deal with the changes made overall? So let's kind of paraphrase it because we did talk about season 2 Sim a little bit, but like your bad matchups. Like, so Nikali, I don't know all the changes, but I know he gets more damage off command grab. I know he has a couple nerfs. And Rashid just seems like better. Rashid just seems like he gives me problems in season 1 and season 2, but I think he's better now. Did they give Sim tools to deal with him at all? Or what do you think about season 2 matchups?
Uh, I mean, I don't know if they have tools that specifically help in that matchup. I know that now he has the yoga, the V skill into EX Gale, and then he can float again. So that might help him stay a little more airborne now.
How practical is that?
Not,
I'm sorry to interrupt. I don't want to derail you, but how practical is that? The like float
that's what
Gale.
I'm trying to see. Like maybe it might be able to keep him airborne a little bit. It might be able to help when he's kind of using his spinning mixer to get in. Because a lot of times there's really nothing I can do. I have to kind of block and then after that it sometimes could be a guessing game. So it's really tough to deal with that sometimes. So it could be pretty effective, but I'm still finding out ways to implement it to where it's it's at its max use. I know I saw Save, another Korean Dawson player. He's a great Dawson player, actually. Save. I saw a video where he did a jump V skill and then EX air galed Rashid's V trigger. So the tornado, he was able to cancel it out.
Wow.
With Dawson's air EX Gale.
Huh.
Completely. Like,
that's
he
weird.
completely neutralized it. And I think I saw, like, Vi already adjusted to it, so now he just meets you at the top and punches you. But but that's pretty cool. I don't think that was, I don't know if that was there.
I haven't seen that. Yeah, I haven't seen that. So season 2 changes. Oh yeah, let's talk about your season 1 career. Reflecting back on season 1, how do you feel about your performances? Is there anything you would have changed or done different? Were there any like, oh my god, I can't believe I lost that match? So you got like, what was it, Brooklyn Beatdown? You said you got top 8. Who did you lose to in that?
Oh, I was up 2-1 against Haitani, and then he came back to beat me. Yeah, Nikali, yeah. So I was starting to feel like I got it, and I think he got a read on maybe a pattern of mine, and then it's just kind of went downhill. But I was up 2-1 against him, and then I dropped the ball. So that was against Haitani and Brooklyn Beatdown.
But we're talking about Haitani as a god, right? How cool is it that you were? I mean, it's a bummer that you lost, but you were up. You were so close.
Yeah. It's like bittersweet. Like, I knew I was excited for the fact that I did so well. But in my mind, I was like, I'm winning 30 grand. I was like, I'm going the distance. Like,
yeah.
This is my tournament. Like, yep. The stars are aligning. Like, in my mind, I was like fully confident I'm gonna win the whole thing. But
sure.
I guess it's great that I lost to such a great player, but I wish I could have gone further. Obviously,
of course.
But, Haitani, one of the Japanese gods.
And that was in winner's side or losers? I forget.
That was a loser side. I think in winner's side, I lost to Justin Wong.
Okay. Yeah, so Justin, that's my personal senpai, and I know you've heard the news about EG.
I just heard,
that's crazy.
Parted ways. Yeah,
that's
insane.
What do you think about that? At first, I was like, man, that's harsh. I mean, just because he went 0-2 in Capcom Cup, like oh no, call on hold, stream please. I can hear you. No. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh yeah, there we go. You know what it was? It was because you can't talk about EG, right? They've got people everywhere, and you start talking about EG.
I'm not at a point where I can discuss this match. It's not. What was that? Yeah, no.
Yeah, EG just broke in and killed the internet. They were like, enough. Buy the Chris G jersey. Shut up. Quit talking about us. So yeah, 0-2 at Capcom Cup. But we're talking about, if we're doing Mount Rushmore, like American players, Justin's like the first player that goes up there. What do you think? Definitely. What do you think's going on? He said, I wasn't dropped. I'm just doing something different. Do you like the idea? Do you think he's got big plans? Mark Man's repping him now?
Yeah, that's another thing. Mark Man's now going to be his manager. It sounds like they're going somewhere different with it. I mean, and honestly, it could be big things. I know that he was with EG for such a long time, and I feel like those two were just synonymous with each other. Justin Wong and Evil Geniuses, they were just together for so long. So for him to leave was a shock. But I have no doubt that Justin knows what he's doing. He's such a smart guy, and he's a really cool dude. And I know he's got plans. He's got some moves, and we'll probably start to see a different branch of how a player is branded and how he starts to market himself as a player. So it'll be interesting.
I think that could be fantastic, though, right? Like, obviously, we don't know the details of the EG deal, but I mean, for him to branch out means that there's potentially more opportunity for him, and it's fantastic that he's brave enough to explore that, right? Like,
Uh,
I I would be like, I've got a good thing. I'm staying here forever. I love you. Don't leave me. Don't break up with me. But I mean, it's cool that these guys are business savvy, Justin and Eduardo and Momochi, that are just like, hey, there may be something else out there. Maybe we can. I don't know. I just think it's really smart. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that.
Exactly. Like they're exploring more options, and there could be some big things. And honestly, it sounds like he really knows what he's doing, and I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. I think it's a smart move, and you don't want to stay somewhere for too long. Eventually you get too comfortable. Maybe like you want to kind of shake things up a bit. So
It's a very valid point. You don't want to get stagnant, right? Let's talk about other tournaments. So Wednesday night fights, you have one on your belt this season. You won one, right?
yeah, I won one. I won the first of season 2, and then I won 2 Wednesday night fights prior. So
Okay.
I think
So
I
three.
won. I won right the week before Brooklyn beat down, and then I think
Oh,
I
that's
won
right.
one
I
against.
remember.
Yeah, and then I won one against Alex Myers, so that's my boy. And then and then I won against Mike Elna. Yeah, in the
I'm
last.
not familiar with Mike. Who does he play?
Oh, he's a Vega player. Yeah, he's been
Okay.
around for a while. Mike Elna. He used to go by Koryu.
Okay.
I don't know.
Really
if you
good Vega
remember.
player?
Yeah, he's a Vega player / Cami player. He's been kind of going back and forth, but now I think he's maining Vega. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Nice. So that's 3 under your belt. You won 3 Wednesday night fights. Sponsors aren't
Yeah.
beating down your door.
I don't know. I'm just gonna try to keep getting W's, and then
Yeah.
if one comes along, then I'm more than grateful, and that'd be awesome. I just want the opportunity to go to more tournaments and do well. Honestly, I'm competitive. I've always been a competitive person, so I want a chance to compete with the best of them. I'm looking forward to that.
I think you're definitely going to get picked up. I think you've got the perfect attitude for it. In the back of my head, I'm like, what, Bud Light just driving F Champ around? I'm out here in these streets winning Wednesday night fights. Where's Bud Light at? Why aren't they
Right out
calling
here,
me?
man, hustling.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm in
Get
these
that W,
streets.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but you have the right attitude. I think it's like I don't know if you watch MMA at all, but it's always the fighters that are like, I'm just here to like win fights, and then when the belt comes, right? Like I just keep fighting. If I keep winning, they won't be able to take it from me, right? A sponsor will have to pick you up if you just keep winning. So I think that's a perfect attitude, and I think you'll definitely get picked up.
Thanks.
Any other performances in season 1, tournament wise that you thought you could have done better at, or you think you killed it, or any moments from season 1?
One that I definitely hold on to was West Coast Warzone, which was early on in the year. I got 9th place at that tournament, and I had beaten Justin Wong there, so that was huge for me when I beat him. That was a big thing. A lot of people were like, "Oh my God, you beat Justin," and I was still like, "Oh my God, I beat Justin!" It's crazy, like this is insane. And I was just kind of trying to cool down, but I lost to Cursitarian, who went on to win West Coast Warzone, and then I had another chance, and I lost that Filipino champ in the Dalsamir. But it was like the most insane set.
Tell us about it. What happened?
Watching, it was to get into top 8, so it was just like it was a huge match, and I had won the first game, and I clutched it out, and I won the first game, so I was up 1-0. People were getting hype, and then he beat me the second game, and then he beat me the third game, but it was close. And then I remember that moment, like just kind of being like, wow, like it's like I think better than I think. I mean, I might be better than I think. Like
I might be really fucking good at this.
I had it. Like it's been a crazy weekend, So yeah, that was pretty huge, and that was in like March, I believe.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken. So it was pretty early on in the year.
I'm trying to think. We had man, did TJ Combo go to, you played an A4 player who just comes to Colorado locals, and he's a Laura, and he's new. He's like a 16 or 17. He's very, very new to the game, but he's enthusiastic, and he goes to the locals every week. And I remember watching on stream, he was like, yo, this is who I've got in my pool. Do you know these guys? And he sent me the pool, and I was like, fuck. Like, Commander Jesse's your first match? Like, oh, that sucks. But
no.
It was because you guys both had epic beards. He's like a white guy, super long beard. It's longer than yours, and it's a Laura player. You probably don't remember.
Wait, was this SCR?
I think it was SCR. There you go. That's what it was.
Oh,
That's what it was.
Yeah, because I remember like there were people tweeting, and they're like, "Oh my God, look, it's Jesse and Jesse like from the future," or like he's fighting himself, like his inner battle or something. And I was like, "Oh shit, I could see that." He's got like the same beard. Like his beard's longer, but it was we both kind of look alike. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I remember.
That's my friend Tim. Yeah, he repped A4 as kind of him to do, but it's cool that he even goes to tournaments.
Right. You also we have a familiar friend, right? Brandon.
Yeah,
72B.
I was
He
gonna
lives in
get to
Colorado
that.
now?
You know, a funny story about Brandon is he moved. Where are you guys at? Are you SoCal? Where in SoCal are you?
Yeah, I'm in the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
So
I imagine that's where he was too. Did you guys play offline together or?
yeah, I met him through a mutual friend who used to have sessions in the Valley back when Street Fighter 4, so 2009. And then he kind of brought a lot of people in the Valley together, and then that's how I met Brandon through our friend Chris Fuller, who now lives in Sacramento. But
So
yeah,
so a lot of the stream doesn't know who A72 A4 whatever. You don't know who 72B is, aka Brandon. Just a quick story. Brandon moved from the Valley, I guess, and came to Colorado, and there was this house party. It was in Street Fighter 4, and it was like I was Colorado's geef. Like we had a couple other ones, but I was winning tournaments. I was like team tournaments. I was the best geef in Colorado, and he showed up out of nowhere, and he's like, "Can we play a set?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." And I'm like, "Oh, you play geef?" And I'm like, "I'm gonna trash this guy. I'm great at the mirror." And he sat down and he won. He beat me 3-0, and I was like, like, am I drunk? How long have I been at this party? I was like, we'll play again later. I sat down again. I think he beat me another 5 games straight. I was like, fuck this game. Fuck this game. I was so mad. I was so mad. Now we're like best friends. He's the coolest dude. Still probably the best geef in Colorado, but man, I was so mad when he first, I don't even know if he knows this, but when he first moved to Colorado, I was like, fuck this guy. Go back to wherever you're from. He was so good. He's so good.
yeah, dude, he's good. He was really good. He's probably still good now. I haven't played him in a while, but he's really good and a really smart player. And, yeah. He really taught me in that geek matchup, honestly.
That's what I was going to ask.
If it wasn't for Brandon, 72B, if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have ever been able to get past that geek matchup. Even though it was kind of in my favor, I just didn't know what I was doing wrong. And one day he just sat me aside and was like, Jesse, here's the answer. And then ever since then, I was like, man, I'm not losing to geeks anymore. Like, that was it. That's all you needed to say. Like,
you did, thanks. Now you're just beating him all the time? You don't lose to him anymore?
Before he left, he was like, here you go, you can have it. And then
so he beat you until he's like, all right, well, since we're not playing anymore, here's how you win.
Yeah, exactly. Unless the geek was Snake Eyes, yeah, it wasn't.